Hey everyone, it's Jax again from the Popcorn Review Podcast. Today's going to be my episode 19, AEW Dynamite. I did put out a short out there yesterday saying that didn't know why Master P was going to be part of the show, but it's from there. He's from New Orleans, so he was just showing his support for the city. You did have Master P come out and announce the ops. The ops came out dressed up, and I think in one of his Master P's coaching t-shirts or coaching shirts. But apparently he coached to one of the local schools there to make the athlete or help out the athletes in the area. So that was nice to see. Master P again announced the ops there. Um, you did have like Samoa Joe saying he's gonna do it one time, like make you say na 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 na. So the crowd got into it, and for me, growing up in that era with Master P, definitely brought back some nostalgia there. Um, you did have apparently the Death Riders kind of their music played after a little while. You did have Marina Shafir in the corner of the arena, kind of like standing out there from the aisle. And out of nowhere, Death Riders jump in there. They actually attack the ops there, take them out from behind. For a little while, they did get the better hand. You did have for a while there, you had like a few people come in there. For a while, it was actually Master P and Moxley in the ring for a little bit. Joe came back and choked him out. Then you had the Young Bucks come in there and try to get into it. You also had Swerve show up again. He's buck hunting season, so he's looking for the Bucks there. Then a little bit after that, you saw Kenny Omega's music play. He came to the ring with a chair. Um, they kind of like dispersed from there. You had the Bucks and the Death Riders go one way, and everybody collectively, the Ops, Swerve, and Kenny there in the ring. You did have King Nana or Prince Nana actually say Swerve's house or whose house, Swerve's house, you know, and Samoa Joe was like, Moxley, you want me? He was like, nah, no disrespect to whose house this is. He was like, but I want that title back. I want to go after my AEW title. And then he kind of left it at that. But you kind of saw Swerve kind of gave him like that side eye, like, hold on, man, like that's all me. And I think I mentioned this before. On the way out, everybody was leaving. You saw the Ops jump out. You saw Master P jump out, and then Swerve and Kenny Omega again had like a little weird interaction in the ring. Like he was like, "No, you go. No, you go. No, you go." And they were kind of like, so there's something definitely building there. Not sure if you might see Swerve go after Kenny's title, or Kenny's slowly going to be going towards the AEW title. So at some point, these two are going to wrestle, and that's going to be one hell of a match. Can't wait to see it. I don't even care if one of them's heel and one of them's face. I just want to see an incredible match between Kenny Omega and Swerve. I've never seen them wrestle, and if it has happened, I didn't see it again. But it was a great interaction. They're definitely building something slowly there. So we'll see how that plays out. I will say that you did have a little segment in the back with Christian Cage and the Patriarchy. You saw Nick Wayne with his new Ring of Honor title there, and just like he did with Luchasaurus, he kind of ripped the title off of him and threw it over his own shoulder and saying, "You only have this because of me." And for a moment there, Nick Wayne kind of like got in his face. So I thought that they were gonna have an issue. And apparently he was like, "Well, just know that I love you and I did this for my family." And he gives Nick Wayne back the championship. So there's definitely some tension building there. Not sure if they're gonna have a match later on or if he's gonna force Nick Wayne to give him the title like kind of how he did with Luchasaurus. But we'll see how that plays out. Nick Wayne at some point is gonna get tired of the mistreatment and definitely try to dip out. You did have a match there with Ricochet and Mark Briscoe. Ricochet, like I've said in the past, I feel like his heel persona has been very good in AEW. A lot of people don't like him on the mic. They said he couldn't talk. He's not a great speaker, but he's definitely just like at this point he was like, forget everybody else. I'm gonna do what I want. I'm gonna say what I want. And if you like it, you like it. There was one time that during the match, people were holding like bald signs, and then Ricochet was kind of like upset. Um, that was pretty funny. Was it actually a decent match? Ricochet and Mark Briscoe were going at each other pretty well. Um, Mark Briscoe did end up actually beating Ricochet. I was actually shocked. I know a lot of people like Mark Briscoe, especially with his, like, I think he calls it redneck kung fu or country kung fu, whatever it's called. So a lot of people like Mark Briscoe. I just didn't expect Ricochet to lose to him. I actually thought Ricochet was going to win, but then at the end, somewhere, sometime before the match, Ricochet hides his gold scissors or gold shears in one of the turnbuckles, pulls it out, about to attack Mark Briscoe, and then again Kevin Knight comes to the rescue. He actually, kind of gets into the way, steals the scissors from Ricochet. Ricochet kind of like runs off. So at some point, Ricochet and Kevin Knight are definitely going to have a match. And like I've mentioned before, Kevin Knight's been doing some crazy ass moves for being only in the, if I'm not mistaken, in the industry for about 5 years, for what the commentary was saying. So he's doing pretty good. He does some crazy shit in the air. Like I think I mentioned before, he does like frog splashes in the midair. He turns sideways, act as if he's like doing a basketball move between his legs, and then comes down for the splash. How do you have time to do that? It's almost like he's standing still in the air. So Kevin Knight, from what I've seen, pretty good. I don't know if they're going to push him over to Ring of Honor. I will say, with all the titles that AEW has, I think one that they don't have is a cruiserweight. I know I'm mentioning another championship, but I think to show Kevin Knight and some of these young guys building to the future. I know Ring of Honor has a television title, and I think the Pure Champion ROH Pure Championship. So they have young lower titles for these guys to move up. They should possibly have some type of cruiserweight, or maybe that that crown title that what's his name just lost. Use that to build these younger stars, to have them. Just don't just have all your top stars with some belts. Let them build up these younger guys. Kevin Knight I think would actually be pretty good at that. Um, he's got like a nice gimmick, nice ring attire. The crowd likes him so far, so they're just gonna go from there. There was a segment with FTR returns. Um, to be honest with you, they brought out Stokely Hathaway. You did have Tony Schiavone call him out, and then Stokely's music hits. He comes out to the ring and he introduces FTR himself, saying that he's FTR's like manager or agent. That if you need to speak to FTR, you got to speak to me first. There was an issue that they kept pretty much telling the crowd, "Hey guys, come down. We're still the good guys." Like trying to play off like they're still good. FTR is definitely heel now. Dax and Cash are definitely leaning into that. They're really good as heels. I know the fans liked them for a long time, so they're really good as heels. Makes a lot of sense to make them heel again. They're gonna go after the tag team titles at some point, just don't know when. Um, you did see that there was in the crowd, there was think it was Rock and Roll Express. They were hanging out in the crowd. They called them to the ring, and while they were asking them questions, they kept cutting them off. Like, "Hey, what was your favorite match?" "Well, I think it was, back in 1987 and whatever, whatever." Just cut them off. Didn't let them finish. But finally, they got upset. They're like, "No, you're gonna let me talk if you're gonna ask me questions." You did have that go through. Um, you did have them almost like try to take them out. They pulled out new shirts saying that FTR Living Legend Killers, kind of like leaning into that, almost that Randy Orton, legend killer. So that they're really close friends with Randy Orton. So I'm pretty sure they probably asked for that, if they can use kind of that moniker. But they're called FTR, the Living Legend Killers, and they were trying to take out Rock and Roll Express. You did see the new team of the Paragon with Adam Cole and his guys there. So those guys there kind of ran out, kind of scared FTR out. They kind of dipped off, but FTR does have a new mouthpiece, and it's Stokely Hathaway. Haven't seen him do anything in a long time because Chris Statlander, he was trying to push her for a long time. That kind of fell off. Chris Statlander is now a face again. So Stokely hasn't done nothing in a while. So he can talk his ass off. Let's see what we can get into with that. You did have one match there that was the Young Bucks versus Speedball and Kevin Knight. Again, I'm really behind Kevin Knight. Speedball, I'm still trying to like this guy, trying to see what he can bring to AEW. But Kevin Knight for sure. That guy's got hops. That guy's got moves. I cannot wait to see where the ceiling is for Kevin Knight, because he deserves, even if it's just a TNT championship or maybe like a Ring of Honor Pure Championship, whatever the case is, but definitely get that man some gold and let him build up from there, build up his careers, get him some wins. I definitely see big things from Kevin Knight. Maybe other people might think differently, but that's what I think about Kevin Knight. That guy is amazing. Kevin Knight looked really good in this. Speedball actually looked really good in this match. Um, The Young Bucks for a while, I feel like they were showing me their same move set. I feel like I was seeing the same thing, and then out of nowhere, just as I was thinking that, you saw them do like a double stomp off the ropes, flip Kevin Knight over into a power bomb slam. That was a pretty decent move. Not sure what they're calling it, but that's what I saw. Kind of a double stomp, flipped off the ropes into a power bomb. Amazing, amazing move. They also went outside and did a few moves out there. Um, but all around good match. I was actually surprised. You did have, again, the Young Bucks won it. It would have been nice to see the younger guys win it. Speedball and Kevin Knight, but they did put on a great match. I knew the Young Bucks were going to win. They're trying to build them up again to be those heels, but it was a great match to see those guys. They're pushing those two heavily. Kevin Knight and Speedball. Um, Kevin Knight, for real, I cannot wait to see Speedball. I'm still trying to see what this guy can do, but so far, what I see from Kevin Knight, the man can go. The man can go. The man can go. Hopefully, they can put him out there and do something great. Because Kevin Knight, I'm behind you. I hope you get your flowers in AEW. I think they said you were from New Japan, so at some point you did wrestle before that. But great, 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 great outing from the last couple weeks that I've seen from Kevin Knight. So, man, congratulations, keep building, keep winning, and hopefully AW puts some gold around your waist. Um, you did have the Her Syndicate, kind of come to the ring again to kind of do a celebration like they've been doing the past couple weeks. You did see that MVP, he's the most talkative out of that group. MVP was saying like, hey, we hurt people. Anybody that we've wrestled, they end up disappearing. Just lately we wrestled the Gates of Agony. Those guys are some monsters. Those guys are some lions. But when you come up against the Hurt Syndicate, you're gonna get hurt and you're gonna lose. But I'm pretty sure we'll see those guys down the road. So even though they beat them, they gave them the props. And like I said, that was a good match for the four of them. They made everybody look strong in that match. So for MVP to give those guys their props is really nice to see. They're kind of heels, but at the same time, the crowd loves these guys. So it's kind of weird. They kind of fall in the same aspects of MJF. They're heels, but they're being cheered. Like even though MJF is a heel, he gets cheered. He is, what do they call him? He's your our douchebag. So he's definitely into that. But just as everybody was talking, he hands the mic to Bobby, and then Bobby goes to put the mic to his mouth to speak, and then you hear like a car revving. Is MJF on the Titantron on the screen once again interrupting Bobby Lashley again? These guys are gonna go at it. I don't know when, don't know how, but these guys are definitely gonna go at it again. I feel like he might cost the Hurt Syndicate the tag team titles, and that's gonna be the last straw for Bobby. He's gonna go after him. Well, MJF makes it to the ring. His music plays. He does a little strut to the ring. They ask for a vote again, or he asks for a vote again, and you know MVP goes, where mine's is, so I'm a yes. And then Shelton kind of hesitates, and he finally gives him the thumbs up, but he goes, I'm only giving it to you because of MVP. If it wasn't for that man, it'd be a no. So you're lucky you know him because it'd be a no for me. And then when Bobby Lashley's turn, Bobby's holding his hand like this, and he's like, wait, Bobby, wait. Before you say anything, he was like, you like that car out there? He offers him the car. The only thing is MJF keeps calling Bobby Lashley Bob. So he wants to be part of the Hurt Syndicate, but you keep calling one of their most dominant players Bob. Like, that is so disrespectful. His name is Bobby Lashley. Like, yeah, maybe his friends call him Bob, but MJF, you are not his friend. Not sure what's going there. And again, at some point, those two are going to go at it. But he said, hey, you like that car out there? I'm going to get it to you. He was like, all right, let's go. So he gets them over there. He shows them the car. Like, hey, let me get the keys. Grabs the keys. He's like, yeah, go ahead, hop in. So him and Shelton Benjamin jump in the car. And as Bobby Lashley's driving away, he gives him the thumbs down. He was like, what the hell? You got MVP going, hey, man, calm down. Just give the people what they want. Let them dip off for right now. You and I will hang out, and we'll go from there. Now, again, these two guys are going to go at it. Right after that segment, though, you had Hangman Adam Page talking to Renee, and then MJF kind of interrupts. They go at it again. So Hangman and MJF go at it for a while, and definitely could see those two wrestling down the road. He was like, I already beat you, and Hangman saying, I already beat you. I took you out this last time. And then MJF is like, hey, you and I are 1-1. We still got to go one more time to see who got the better of each other. So as of right now, you and I records is 1-1. We need one more to run it back. Don't know when that's going to happen. I did say I wanted to see Swerve versus Hangman at All In Texas because, again, he's a cowboy, so it kind of made sense. But it could be MJF versus Hangman Adam Page. Again, he's a cowboy. I'm sure a lot of people are going to boo MJF there. But, again, people love that he's our douchebag. People love MJF. He's an asshole, but everybody likes MJF. So you did see that there. After that, you had a match there, which I thought was kind of weird. You had Will Ospreay with Brody King, and then you had Shawn Alexander and Takeshita from the Don Callis family. Not sure how Brody King makes sense in this match because, again, you have Brody King has his own group, the Hounds of Hell. You haven't seen them. I think you've seen Buddy around for a little bit, and then you've seen the other girl. I forgot her name, but the three of them. She just wrestled last week, and you haven't seen her. You haven't seen Julia Hart. So there you go, Julia Hart. So you haven't seen Julia Hart, but it's like you just saw her last week. You haven't seen Buddy for a while, and now Brody King's kind of by himself. So yeah, they threw him in this match to try to get his get back at the Kester there, but it was just an awkward match. You wouldn't see Brody King with Ospreay in any other type of format at all unless they're going against each other. So it's just weird that they were tag team. Even when they were tagging each other, Brody King was like slapping the shit out of out of Will Ospreay, and he's just like, "Ah, man, all right, I'm in." So it was just like really awkward. Even when he picked him up and slammed him on the guys, you got Will Ospreay look at him like, "Come on, man, we on the same team." But again, Don Callis family cheats it out. So that technically happens there. You have pretty much the entire Don Callis family beating up Brody King, beating up Will Ospreay. You did have Hangman come out for a while. Kyle Fletcher came out there too, and they pretty much just beat down on those guys because apparently whoever wins out of, I think Ospreay and Hangman Adam Page end up facing Kyle Fletcher in the finals, if I'm not mistaken, or the semifinals for the Owen Hart tournament. So he's trying to like weaken his opponent before he gets to him, regardless who it is. He don't care who it is, but he's just trying to weaken his opponent. So that was pretty crazy there. I would say also in this day you had a bunch of announcements. You had a bunch of announcements throughout the week, but one of the big announcements was you're gonna have Samoa Joe versus Moxley at Beach Break in Chicago. I think it was Chicago. So that was announced during the show. So can't wait to see those two guys go to at it. I still don't think that you're gonna have Moxley lose to Samoa Joe. To be honest with you, I think it's gonna be Swerve, possibly Hangman to take that title. I'd be very surprised if Samoa Joe. I think they're gonna try to cheat that out. The bastard hasn't been around for a while, so he might be the one to show up and kind of cause Samoa Joe the title, or to win the title. You did have for the finale or the main event, you had Jamie Hayter versus Chris Statlander. And I said for a long time they were giving Chris Statlander a lot of L's. She kept winning in the tournament. Right now she's versus Hayter. This match could have went 50-50. These both the girls look strong. They were put on each other's moves. I think at one point Chris Statlander did like the 450 splash off the top. She missed it slightly. She kind of landed on her feet and then kind of fell forward, but it was still just Chris Statlander is not a little girl. She works out a lot. I think she bodybuilds if I'm not mistaken. So she's pretty strong. So to see her do a move like that to me was kind of impressive. Jamie Hayter, the crowd's behind her. She's got like that 60s or 70s vibe with her gear. Again, this match could have gone either way. I would have been okay with whoever won. To be honest with you, I think Jamie Hayter, if I'm not mistaken, Jamie Hayter ended up winning that match. So again, it could have went 50-50. And now Jamie Hayter actually has to wrestle Mercedes Moné for the semifinals. And I still think Mercedes is going to win. To be honest with you, I think they're just trying to have Mercedes wrestle different people that she hasn't. She's already wrestled Chris Statlander before. So by putting Jamie Hayter there, going to give her that one step up by that she's going to be able to, go to the next step, beating another person. Um, so Jamie Hayter moves on to wrestle Mercedes. Mercedes comes out with her music, kind of like interrupts, Jamie Hayter's celebration. And the girls were kind of bickering at each other. Yeah, that one was by the Titantron, one was by in the ring. They were kind of bickering to each other. So you can kind of just see like their mouth movements. And for a while, Jamie Hayter's like, "Hey, if you're not gonna come in here, just get out of here. Like, there's no reason for you to be out here. Just go." And then after a while, they changed the music from Mercedes, the CEO chants to Jamie Hayter's music, and then Mercedes Moné was like, "What? Y'all changed my music?" And then Jamie Hayter goes, "Yeah, you can go. You can go. We don't need you here. If you're not coming in the ring, you can go." So that's going to be a pretty good match. I still feel like Mercedes Moné is going to move over to the next round, and I think it's going to be Mercedes versus Timeless Tony Storm, where possibly Mercedes could take the championship, relinquish the TBS championship, because then from there it's going to be 5 belts, Mercedes Moné. So I definitely see that happening. They're going to push her. Don't know who's going to take the title off from Mercedes, but I feel like that's how it's going to go, guys. Again, this is Jax from the Popcorn View podcast. Have a great one.